All right. Shalom. Call Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I just want to play this video and go into a few scriptures on we're not in our rest. This is not our kingdom. And the quicker Jake understands that, the quicker we can get out of here. Stop thinking that you can do, you can abide by Esau's rules and regulations and kiss up to him and he'll give you a part or a portion of his kingdom. That's not going to happen. And Jake needs to wake up and realize that. This is an old video. It's not new. It's called Being Black in America When Performing Everyday Activities Triggers 911 Calls. And it just go through some of the different things that had happened to some Jakes, in dealing with Esau and just regular everyday life. Like just going to the store or going to your job or going home. You got to deal with Esau and his bullshit, So check this out, and I'll get to the scriptures after that.
Tonight, it's the latest in a string of viral videos capturing what many feel is casual racism, burning up social media and grabbing outraged headlines. They all begin with a non-threatening encounter, then the escalating discomfort, and many ending with a phone call to police. Can these conflicts be avoided? Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis. When it comes to people accused of everyday racism, the internet has no mercy.
I'm being followed and harassed, that's what's up. With two white kids being with one black male.
No, yeah.
It's suspicious.
Doling out viral nicknames.
You can film all you want.
Intended to brand any perpetrator forever.
Call the police on them for having a barbecue.
Stephanie Sebi Strempel, arrested for assaulting a black teen at a community pool.
Get out now!
Became Pool Patrol Paula. Her attorney later saying there are two sides to every story.
Get out!
And Allison Edel, who called the police on an 8-year-old girl selling water, now known as Permit Patty.
Illegally selling water without a permit?
Edel later saying she regrets the way she handled it. And now, just this past week, Teresa Klein became Cornerstone Caroline.
The son grabbed my
Cornerstone Caroline.
When she accused a 9-year-old boy of groping her at this Brooklyn corner store. Surveillance footage would later prove her wrong, clearly showing it was the boy's backpack that accidentally grazed her. But outside of the store, she confronted the boy and his family, saying she's calling the police.
I want the cops here right now.
The boy, Jeremiah, terrified of going to jail, sobs outside the store. His mother, aghast. One witness, Jason Littlejohn, immediately began filming.
Make her go viral.
I knew something wasn't right, and then that's when I pulled out my phone and then started recording. After that, I saw little Jeremiah crying.
Don't cry, little man.
And that was the saddest thing of my life, to ever see a little kid like that crying.
After viewing the surveillance footage, the woman apologized to the boy.
But I'm sorry.
But for Littlejohn and many others, sorry is not enough.
I gave her the name, it's Corner Store Carolyn. And I was like, please make this go viral, just the world had to see what was going on.
Littlejohn's video viewed more than 7 million times in 6 days.
Corner Store Caroline.
There is racism going on everywhere around the world. It's not just in the South. It's not just Midwest. It's happening even in Brooklyn, New York.
Littlejohn views his phone as a tool for justice.
Being a black man in America, right now your phone is your biggest weapon, You need that, because just in case anything happens, you have to have some kind of proof. So much stuff going on right now, especially as you can see in all the viral videos.
These videos are so ubiquitous that there's a hashtag, Living While Black, to describe the prejudices that pervade everyday lives. Just this week, Hillary Brooke Mueller tried to block Darion Tolles from walking into his own luxury apartment building in downtown St. Louis. He immediately began filming.
I don't like the fact that you're blocking me for where I pay.
All I'm
live
asking is what unit?
But I don't need to tell you that information, ma'am.
If you want to come into my building.
It's not your building. You're not the owner. You're not security. You're not the property manager. You're not
No,
Mike
but
Herman.
I live here.
When he ultimately moves past her,
No.
Excuse me, person.
No.
Excuse me.
Are you kidding me?
she gets in the elevator with him
No, I want to know who you're going to see.
and then follows him to his apartment.
Just follow me all the way to my door.
As a
and you see my keys in the door.
And it made me feel really uncomfortable, made me feel less of a human. And I felt like I was being judged.
Hillary Mueller defending her actions, telling Fox 2 Now she was merely trying to follow the condo's guidelines for residents.
So when I noticed an individual that I did not know, my only intent was to follow the direction that I've been given by our condo association board members repeatedly, and that is to never allow access to any individual that you do not know.
The Living While Black hashtag exploded after perhaps the most publicized of these events occurred back in April.
They didn't do anything. I saw the entire.
When 2 black men were arrested in a Philadelphia Starbucks after a manager called the police on them while the men were waiting on a potential business partner.
Hi, I have 2 gentlemen in my cafe that are refusing to make a purchase or leave.
They weren't doing anything, like violent or angry. They were basically like perp walked out of the store and put in a police car.
How long were you in custody?
About 8 hours.
8 hours.
There was no reasoning. They had nothing. They just kept using defiant trespassing as their excuse for putting us behind bars.
The bias that we saw in that Starbucks tape is not isolated to coffee houses. Black and brown people all across the country in every aspect of social life experience this type of inequality. This is why people call the police on us more quickly. All of these things are part of the kind of implicit bias.
You see how he said black and brown people? That's you, Latinos also, Native Americans too. Y'all experience that same thing. It ain't just the so-called African Americans or blacks.
That people have against black and brown bodies that see them as more dangerous, more criminal, less moral, and more likely to commit a crime.
After that Starbucks incident, the company mandated anti-bias training for their 170,000 employees. You were part of the training after Starbucks. What were your recommendations?
We co-created the curriculum for Starbucks when they shut down the stores on May 29th. What we built into that training was a set of practices that would help people. We were trying to find like the stop, drop, and roll with respect to racial anxiety, right? That how do you stop and pause and really kind of ask yourself a series of questions that would help you understand how bias is operating.
Johnson says we're all carrying bias.
We're not as colorblind as we purported to be. And sometimes even if you have the best intentions, it's hard to override your automatic response to them. So awareness can only take you but so far. You really have to have a set of strategies.
There was, of course, this infamous case in Oakland, California.
Is there a reason why we're calling the police?
When this woman, dubbed Barbecue Becky, called the police on a family hosting a barbecue in a public park.
It's illegal to have a charcoal grill in the park here.
No, it's not actually. I just looked at the map. It says this is a designated barbecue area.
This past week,
I'm babysitting, right? Y'all see, look, I got 2 kids in the backseat with me.
Corey Lewis, a black babysitter, was watching 2 white children in Georgia when an unidentified white woman approached them in a Walmart parking lot.
Her pulling up to my vehicle, asking if the kids were all right, in which I responded with, why wouldn't they be?
So concerned for the children, the woman called 911.
I rode around again and I said, let me see the little girl. He goes, no. And I said, well, let me just see the little girl and just see if she knows you.
Lewis records live as police pull him over.
What's up, man? I'm being followed and harassed. That's what's up.
Some of these videos have had real-world consequences. The woman who blocked a man from entering his own apartment, she lost her job.
Some employees might say, well, free speech matters, and so I should be able to say whatever I want to. The First Amendment certainly protects you to do that. It does not guarantee you a job.
But for some, erasing centuries of institutional racism won't happen overnight.
It's really impossible to train people not to be racist or to get rid of their implicit bias in 1 day, 1 week, or 1 year. But what you can do to start things is to at least get employees to recognize that they have biases. Not just white people, all of us have biases, because to be honest, many black managers and black employees would have done the same thing if 2 black men came into Rittenhouse. So we need to find a way to get people to recognize that we all have racial blind spots, we all have gender and class blind spots, and we all have work to do to end any kind of discrimination.
Back in New York, Jason Littlejohn said his decision to hit record has turned him into an activist.
I'm going to keep fighting for justice for Jeremiah.
At a community rally last night, Jeremiah had an impassioned plea for us all.
Friendship is really the key.
For Nightline, I'm Lindsay Davis in New York.
Alright, so play that video just to let you know Jake This is not your rest. Jake, this is not your rest. Wake up. So I want to get first thing I want to get is, let's see, Micah 2:10 says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction." Like I said, that everything here in Babylon the Great is polluted, and this is literally not your rest. They don't want you here. They don't want you having any parts of their kingdom. So why go and beg them to be a part of it? Yahweh Hashem Yahushua wants us to be separated from them. So why not be separated from them to get a greater kingdom? This is Isaiah 14, starting at verse 1. "For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them, and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captive, whose captives they were. And they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, How hath the oppressor ceased, and the golden city ceased? The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers." So that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for that rest, where we can actually get rest from our sorrows and our fear and bondage, because we literally live in fear. We fear every day, having to deal with Esau, Edom, and their wicked ass system. We literally live in fear of that. But we also fear Yahweh Hashem Yahushua even more. So that's why we don't worry about that, as long as we doing what we supposed to be doing. This is Jeremiah 30:16. "Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. For I will restore health unto thee, I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord. Because they call thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh." There you go. That's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for that patience and faith. We're waiting to be brought out of this captivity, to be given this rest, and also to be placed over our enemies, to be able to rule over them. This is Ezekiel chapter 36. I'm going to start at verse 8. It says, "But ye, O mountains of Israel, ye shall shoot forth your branches, and yield your fruit to my people of Israel, for they are at hand to come. For behold, I am for you, and I will turn unto you, and ye shall be tilled and sown. And I will multiply men upon you, all the house of Israel, even all of it. And the cities shall be inhabited, and the ways shall be builded. And I will multiply upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bring fruit, and I will settle you after your old estates." This sounds like rest. That don't sound like hard bondage there. "And I will do better unto you than at your beginnings." We'll have even more than what we had before. "And ye shall know that I am the Lord. Yea, I will cause men to walk upon you, even my people Israel, and they shall possess thee, and thou shalt be their inheritance, and thou shalt no more henceforth bereave them of men." This thus saith the Lord, because they say unto you, Thou land devourest of men, and hast bereaved thy nations, therefore thou shalt devour men no more, neither bereave thy nations any more, saith the Lord God. Neither will I cause men to hear in thee the shame of the heathen any more, neither shalt thou bear the reproach of the people any more, neither shalt thou cause thy nations to fall any more, saith the Lord. But that's pretty much it on that. But the point is getting rest from this hardcore bondage, getting rest from this captivity that we're in. That's what Yahushua came to do. This is Matthew 11:28. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart. Ye shall find rest unto your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And last which I want to get is, how will we be able to achieve that rest? It's going to be through faith. Through faith in Yahweh Shai. We have to know and have faith that rest is coming. Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And look at all the men of old. You can look through faith. Was Lot delivered? Through faith was Abraham given the promise. Through faith was Noah delivered. Through faith was Yahushua delivered. Through faith, all the men of old didn't do anything that they were able to do except by faith. So, hope you're edified with that. Shalom.